another event that happened about the same time that's very monumental. And it was what's famously called the Balfour Declaration. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's a good thing to keep in your mind. The Balfour Declaration was written by Lord Balfour, which I believe was the foreign secretary for England at the time, the British Empire. He wrote a letter representing the government. He wrote a letter to Lord Rothschild of the Rothschild family, who are Jews, as you know. And so he wrote a letter to Lord Rothschild expressing the intent of the empire, the British Empire. In fact, I want to just read part of this declaration because to say it word by word is by far more accurate. And here is part of that declaration. Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the cabinet. His Majesty's government views with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this object. Now that Balfour Declaration was celebrated by Jews around the world. And you can just imagine the hope that was placed on the Empire of Britain putting their efforts behind such a declaration as that. But the Arabs revolted violently to such a declaration, and the waves and waves, tens of thousands started to come at a time into the Arab area and buying land. So the British found themselves with a problem. How do we try to maintain the peace? And so they set up what they called a Peel Commission, P-E-E-L, after one of their officers, who investigated, looked into the matter, and his suggestion was to partition the land. What we need to do is to partition the land, to give some of the land to the Jews, some of the land to the Arabs, and thus they can have different, and learn to live side by side and in their own distinct areas. This was flatly rejected by the Arabs, who did not want Israel to have any such self-governance in that area. They flatly rejected it and instead rioted. And so England then came out in 1939 with what was famously called the White Paper, which declared that their intent was to have a government made up of both Jews and Arabs, somehow learning to work it out. And it also included a deep restriction on immigration and no more land purchases, except for a very small part of the land. And by the way, about the same time, Jews around the world were contributing millions and millions and millions of dollars for the purchasing of land and the support of Jews coming to make Aliyah.